At some point in their life, many people will need to seek psychological counseling. This could be due to drug addiction, mental illness, or some traumatic event that happens in their lives. As a pastor, from time to time, I'm called upon to counsel people who are facing these difficulties in life. I've talked with people who are facing cancer and the thought of possibly dying from this disease. I've talked with people whose spouses have been unfaithful. I've talked to people in the process of losing their home, great financial difficulties. Anything can lead to a point or a time in our life when we need to seek some form of psychological counseling. Do we seek this in a secular sense, or would it be better to seek this from a Christian standpoint? That's what I'll be speaking to you about tonight. I'll be informing you about Christian counseling. And I'll discuss the advantages of the Christian counselor versus the secular psychologist. While some choose to use a secular psychologist, this type of treatment does not necessarily address all of the problems, the spiritual side, from whence all these problems really do arise. Dr. Neil T. Anderson, in his book Discipleship Counseling, states that biblical mental health begins with a true knowledge of God and the knowledge of who we are as His children. According to Tim Clinton, in Caring for People God's Way, a Gallup poll suggests that above 60% of prospective clients prefer counselors with spiritual values, and 80% want their beliefs brought into the counseling process. Even though the majority of the people want their faith included, most therapists do happen to be secular psychologists. Clinton also states that one survey shows, and you can see this from the bar graph behind me, that one survey shows that 72% of the population say that their religious faith is among the most important priorities in their life, while only 33% of psychologists say the same. While secular counselors tend to only treat the mental and physical aspects of the illness, Christian counselors add to that the spiritual aspect. Anderson discusses that along with our mental and emotional state, contributing to our mental health, our spiritual state is a factor as well. If all three of the aspects are not taken into account, complete healing cannot take place. Romans 12:2 tells us that, "And be not conformed to the ways of this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, and that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God." God cares for our minds. Counseling from a Christian perspective can facilitate complete healing in the individual, as well as a close and personal relationship with God. Thank you for your time.